What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Azkhalon and welcome back to another College Football 26 video. In this video, I want to talk about the gameplay deep dive trailer that dropped a few days ago. I'm finally getting around to talking about it because I was attending the Southern Fried Gaming Expo in Atlanta this past weekend, and of course, EA released the trailer this past Friday while I was on the road. But I have seen the trailer and I've read the Campus Huddle article, so now it's time to talk about it all. Let's get into the video. Let's go. The gameplay deep dive trailer was a little shorter than some people expected, coming in a little under 5 minutes. Some people were also curious as to why EA dropped the Madden Deep Dive trailer before college football, since the latter comes out earlier than the former. But nonetheless, we finally got a deep dive trailer. EA started with a gameplay deep dive just like last year, and they will post the Dynasty deep dive in a couple of days as of the recording of this video. On the same day as the deep dive trailer, EA also published a Campus Huddle news article on the College Football 26 website. It covers the same points of the trailer, but of course in a lot more detail. Kirk Herbstreit handles the voiceover for the trailer, which focuses on 6 gameplay features: playbook expansion, new player types and abilities, wear and tear improvements, new control mechanics, stadium pulse, and physics-based tackling. Since EA included real coaches in the game this year, it makes sense that there will be changes to team playbooks, as teams may update or change playbooks yearly, especially if a new coach or coordinator is hired. The trailer boasts that for the first time, over 300 real coaches are included in a college football video game. I don't necessarily care either way about real coaches being in the game or not, to be honest, but it's cool that it's there. But I could see how, even though I don't care for it, emphasizing that from the jump by EA could attract those interested in the real coaches being in the game. Then the trailer boasts over 2,800 new plays and over 45 new formations that are included in College Football 26. These include new motions, options, and what Kirk Herbstreit says as bizarre plays and formations from last year. You can look at some of these in the Campus Huddle article if you're curious about the new formations and motions. College Football 26 is introducing 10 new player archetypes, and the player abilities have also been rebalanced to create 84 total abilities in hopes of capturing real-life skill sets. The trailer seems to emphasize an ability called Battering Ram, which from the trailer you can see the different tiers: bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and what Battering Ram does for the ball carrier. So at the bronze level, as the ball carrier, you get a slightly increased wear and tear effects to defenders when falling forward on tackles, all the way up to platinum, which is Heisman caliber moments of finishing runs, making defenders pay with increased wear and tear damage when falling forward. I've seen some people on the internet being critical about the Ole Miss running back in the trailer barreling through 2 Washington State defenders as an example of, I'm assuming, the Battering Ram ability. I admit that it is a little weird how this moment plays out, as the back is able to essentially split the 2 huge defenders. My personal beef with this scene is that the defenders are trying to tackle up high. Come on, boys, hit them low. EA apparently improved how abilities scale based on player performance. Naturally, if a player does well, their abilities receive a boost. There's also a new tier that goes beyond platinum for abilities called the Heisman tier, and that is indicated by a green flash around the player's icon whenever they enter that Heisman tier. From what I've gathered, this seems to be a temporary tier that happens at some point in a game if a player has a platinum ability, but I'm not too sure about that based on the trailer and what I've read in the article alone. It doesn't seem like going Heisman, as I am now calling it, can happen with abilities at levels below platinum. I think you have to have a platinum ability in order to go Heisman with that ability. The trailer was vague about the Heisman tier, but basically it seems to generate some kind of special and unexpected moment to mimic highlight reel type action from real life games as seen in the trailer. As you can see, this LSU wideout makes this unnecessary, to me, one-handed catch. This would have been a pick in College Football 25, by the way. If you know, you know. The website mentions that you can drop a tier. It says, conversely, if a player's performance drops, you'll see a red downward arrow indicating they've dropped a tier. I'm intrigued by this. Is it temporary or is it permanent? Can you drop no matter what tier the ability is in? So can you go from gold to silver? I am definitely interested to learn more about this. Field vision, a new quarterback feature that was mentioned in the trailer, is something that definitely caught my attention. It is going to introduce some realistic challenges to quarterbacks, as if passing wasn't challenging enough in college football 25, at least until you got the hang of the game. What I like about this feature though is that shorter quarterbacks will have limited vision behind a massive O-line. How this plays out is that receiver icons will fade in and out of view for the player depending on when the quarterback can see the receiver or not on the field. I'm curious to know more about this feature as well. In the trailer, it seems like it might affect your passing meter, and the article confirms there will be an accuracy penalty for making what I call blind throws. I like this feature because it makes sense, because in real life, a shorter quarterback will have a more difficult time seeing certain places downfield while standing in the pocket behind huge offensive linemen. But with any new feature that EA introduces into their games, I just hope that it plays out as well as they tease us with it in the trailer. What sounds great on paper, and we all know this, may not work out in execution. Case in point, last year's wear and tear system. I wanted to love it so much because it sounded so cool when I had initially heard about it, but I ended up turning that bad boy off about a week into playing the game. I did not like the wear and tear system in college football 25. Speaking of wear and tear though, the trailer mentions improvements made to the wear and tear system. Abilities once again were mentioned in the trailer because they are connected to wear and tear through hits and tackles that can cause a player to get banged up over the course of a game. There's more customization to wear and tear now, other than simply cutting it off or on. Players can now adjust wear and tear sub strategies for different position groups individually, as well as adjust how much impact wear and tear has in the game based on things like standard tackling, hit sticks, sacks, blocks, etc. There's a fully customizable wear and tear auto sub settings and sliders according to the Campus Huddle article that brings unprecedented depth to player management. You have a default setting, which is the standard computer substitution logic. You can change it to keep fresh, which is inspired by real world rotation strategies like Michigan's frequent running back substitution. You can change it to grind it out for teams that want to keep their best players on the field as long as possible. Players push through being banged up and only sub out when absolutely necessary. There's also a custom slider as well, which I'm assuming you can go in and tweak different individual things to your liking. Both the trailer and the article touch on visual indicators associated with wear and tear that will show impacted body parts and how serious the player is banged up. Neither one goes into detail about exactly how this will look, so we will have to play around with it in the game. I'm assuming if you got to play the beta, which I did not get the opportunity to do so, you might have experienced this already and can give some more insight down in the comments below. What was mentioned in the article though is more along the lines about players' demeanor, meaning how they will look or react on the field to any wear and tear damage. The article says that if your quarterback's health dips below 60%, for example, you'll clearly see it reflected in his pre-snap demeanor. Depending on whether he's dealing with upper or lower body damage, he might roll his shoulder. So that may indicate that he has obviously an injury, wear and tear to his shoulder, shake out his arm, or gingerly kick out a sore leg as he approaches the line of scrimmage. This subtle but impactful touch provides an immediate visual cue to the quarterback's condition, making wear and tear feel a bit more alive and connected to your in-game decisions and play than before. So I guess we got to make sure if we have wear and tear on and we don't tweak a lot of those options that they seem to be giving us, we got to pay attention to the players' movements and various things before the ball is snapped. There are also weather modifiers that can impact wear and tear as well, based on conversations had with real coaches and players. This is all fine and dandy, but here's the hoping, and some of you may agree with me, that with these settings, my road to glory starting running back with a bunch of coaches trust won't be sitting out entire quarters at a time in the middle of a game. Like, that was ridiculous last year that you had to go into the sliders essentially and tweak that in order to fix the subbing out system for road to glory. It was ridiculous. So I'm hoping that is fixed. in this year's game. Physics-based tackling is supposed to make tackling better, as indicated by this hilarious line from Kirk Herbstreit. Like, you guys, listen to this explanation. It made me chuckle.
Updates to physics-based tackling make better tackles actually feel better.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I've seen jokes on the internet that physics-based tackling has always been in the game and Madden games, yet EA highlights it every year. My biggest takeaway from this, though, is that it seems like College Football 26 is borrowing the Madden hit stick timing feedback. I don't remember there being a visual cue for the hit stick in College Football 25. I know that timing mattered, but I don't think we could see it visually on the field. It seems like in College Football 26, we can see that now. There's also a good bit of information in the Campus Huddle article about the tackling improvements. I can't cover every single detail in this video, or it would be an hour-long video, but I highly suggest that you take a look at the article and read the section about tackling improvements if you're interested in that. You can see all the different changes that they apparently made. Dynamic substitutions were also highlighted in the trailer. I know a lot of people are excited about this. You can make substitution changes in real time during pre-play by simply pressing up on the D-pad to instantly access who is on the field, and then you can cycle players in and out by tapping left or right on the D-pad. You can adjust substitutions with individual players. There are also filters that can help things go faster for you, like reset to starters, for example, which of course brings your starters back into the game as one unit. I'm just hoping I have enough time to make substitutions when needed while also adjusting my O-line, doing hot routes, setting secondary coverages, etc. It seems like a lot. I like it, but it seems like a lot. One thing I do have to say about EA when it comes to this year's college football game is that they seem like they are definitely listening to feedback from fans. I know some people have had issues with EA about that in the past. People have complained that it doesn't seem like EA listens to fans. Well, with college football, it seems like they are doing so. But here's the thing though, they can't cover everything that everyone wants. But I know a vocal part of the community complained about blocking in College Football 25. Well, in the trailer, it seems that one of the aspects that they focused on improving for the new game is trench work. Players can control the direction of blocks with block steering, which I like. That seems really cool. This is a feature I am definitely planning to play with. And according to the Campus Huddle article, apparently this works on the defensive side of the ball as well. So that's going to be very interesting. Gameplay at the line of scrimmage is supposed to be more realistic based on things like strength and momentum. They've added stunts and twists to the pass rush as well that you can play with. The cool thing about this that I liked is that you don't have to worry about it on the field during the pre-snap if you don't want to. Instead, you will be able to call stunts on the play call screen. You will also have the opportunity to call stunts in the pre-play menu as well. The biggest thing I'm excited about all of this trench work though is that defensive AI players will now maintain their assigned gaps, and offensive linemen will understand who they're supposed to block and how they're supposed to block. This is huge if it works correctly. I've watched too many linemen lead me through a gap as a running back in the game in College Football 25, only to bypass the first body hitting that gap or anyone entering the zone that they're responsible for, and watching them run all the way to try to block the deep safety. It was so annoying. So I'm hoping that is fixed for College Football 26. Pass coverage was another thing that the community was vocal about. So EA has added custom zones for pass coverage that you can adjust in coaching adjustment. And in real time, you can quickly adjust the depth of zone coverage for a selective player by moving the pre-snap art deeper or closer to the line of scrimmage. Man, there's a lot to do pre-snap now. I hope I can get fast at all of these adjustments that I am able to make. In the Campus Huddle article, they mentioned route commit, and that's one of the biggest new additions to coverage gameplay in this year's game. It allows an individual or your entire secondary to aggressively jump routes based on your read of the offense. During pre-play, you press R1, or I'm assuming right bumper for Xbox, then left or right on the left stick, and your entire coverage unit will aggressively break toward either inside or outside breaking routes. So if you guess right, your coverage becomes lockdown essentially. Your defenders will jump the cut faster, stay tighter through breaks, and squeeze passing windows shut. If you guess wrong, it's costly. Your defenders will react slower, take exaggerated false steps, and give up separation that turns short gains into explosive plays. So I'm curious to play around with that in the game. All right, I'm not a huge fan of Stadium Pulse. You guys probably know that by now, but I've said it before. I understand that EA is trying to do something to simulate playing in hostile environments as an away team. I get it. I know how crowd noise can affect athletes on the field. What I don't like personally is that they've added to it for College Football 26, especially the more intense camera shaking. Y'all, I just turned 40 this past week. I'm getting too old for all of these types of features. And y'all, they are now even distorting the play clock during night games, apparently, to where you can't even see it sometimes. But there is a bright side for those of you who are not fans of Stadium Pulse like I am. According to the article, EA has added a new mechanic to give the away team a fighting chance. Thank you. It's called momentum-based crowd silence. So when the visiting team pulls off a big play, specifically a gain of 20 plus yards resulting in a first down or something like that, you'll temporarily quiet the stadium and pause home field advantage effects. It's your chance to silence the chaos, seize momentum, and flip the game if you can execute. And I know in last year's game, you know, if you could take over the game as an away team, the Stadium Pulse and stuff wasn't terrible, but it seems like it took forever. Like I would have a big play and the crowd would still be crazy, and I'm like, that should kind of quiet them down a little bit. So I'm looking forward to seeing that mechanic, the silence in the crowd thing, and I hope it works very effectively, because I hate Stadium Pulse sometimes. There are a few things mentioned in the article that wasn't in the trailer that I kind of want to highlight. Another thing the article touches on is enhanced quarterback progression. Recognizing that lower rated quarterbacks were previously more successful than we would like, we've expanded the gap between elite and lower tier quarterbacks to mirror real life disparities more accurately. High awareness quarterbacks will quickly and efficiently cycle through multiple receiving options, reflecting the decisive reads and rapid decision making of the nation's elite signal callers. Conversely, lower rated quarterbacks struggle more significantly, realistically managing fewer progressions and demonstrating slower decision making, closely resembling the performance of inexperienced true freshmen or developing quarterbacks seen on Saturdays. And I'm assuming this is with the AI quarterbacks. So you may not see those lesser rated quarterbacks torching your defense anymore. So I'm hoping that may fix what I call the second half effect, where when you're playing a computer team, all of a sudden they can do no wrong in the second half, and after you started the game being out in front. So I'm hoping that might fix some of those issues that I had with that crap. And the last thing I want to touch on, but definitely not least, the biggest thing, at least for me, that the article touches on that the trailer didn't is no eyes, no picks. So last year's game, it seemed like the defensive backs and sometimes linebackers could just pick off passes willy-nilly. Like they would be in man coverage running with a receiver, and then all of a sudden the ball is thrown and they just turn around and pick off the ball. So basically this year they improved that, and I like it. When a DB doesn't have eyes on the ball, he won't make those unrealistic blind leaps anymore. But on the flip side of that, when a DB does track the ball properly, you'll see that they'll be rewarded with a pick or a swat or whatever. So I do like though that they got to have their eyes on the ball in order to pick it off. It says when a DB is in a trail position, hips turned and running at full speed, you should feel more inclined to take a deep shot. Yes, I will be no longer afraid to throw downfield anymore. So this was really cool. This was big for me, and I know this is probably big for a lot of people, especially those of you that continue to struggle with passing even after kind of getting used to the game. And that's it. As you can see, there's a lot of additions or changes to college football this year. I'm both excited and a little apprehensive about everything. The reason why I'm apprehensive is that I'm hoping all of these adjustments we can make don't become overwhelming. And I've said that already in this video. It's cool to have some of these things like custom zones, stunts, and twists, and whatever new feature they've added that we can make adjustments with in our coaching. But I hope it doesn't feel like too much at the same time. The football coach in me loves any steps made towards realism in a sports video game, but the player in me hopes it doesn't take away from the fun of playing a video game when you're having to strategize a little too much. I'm saying this again, I did not cover everything in the Campus Huddle article. Make sure to read it because there are a lot of things that have been changed in this year's game, like making safety adjustments. There's a whole section about that. Showing blitz with the linebacker only, the 9-box AI system, which is very interesting. I highly recommend that you read it. And how they've made kicking even harder, just to name a few of the things that's mentioned in the Campus Huddle article. It's a lengthy article, but for those of you that are skeptical, for those of you who are like, I don't really think EA is listening to fans or trying to make changes to the game. Oh, it's just a copy and paste of College Football 25 with updated rosters and a few new bells and whistles. Check out that Campus Huddle article. It may make you feel better about those things because they do list in detail a lot of the changes or additions that they've made to this game. And now, again, I'm a realist, right? I know they can promise all of these things and then they're not really in the game, or they don't execute in the game like they say in the article. But y'all, I do feel that they are trying, and they took the time to list all of these different changes. So I feel like we should at least read through them and see what's new. And plus, that may help you with the game too, learn about a new feature that you didn't know about. And so that way you can be prepared and ready when you get your hands on the game. Hit that like button if you like this video. More College Football 26 videos coming from me in the near future. I'm definitely going to be on that Dynasty Deep Dive when it drops on Tuesday. So be on the lookout for that video pretty soon. Drop me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts about the gameplay deep dive trailer. Did you enjoy it? Did you read everything in the Campus Huddle article? What are some changes you're excited about? What are some things you're still skeptical about? And if you played the beta, I know you probably had some sort of agreement with EA not to disclose certain things or whatever, but if you can shed some light on some of these features in the comments below, if you had a chance to play the beta, because like I said, some of the things were kind of vague. I would love to hear from you guys. So drop me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. If you're new around here, check out all of my content in addition to news and Let's Plays and various things that I do with College Football 26. Well, I haven't done any Let's Plays yet because the game's not out yet, but I will be doing so pretty soon. But anything covering College Football 25, a lot of the features and various things like that. I do any horror gameplays. I got a variety of gaming content on my channel, so if you like the content, definitely hit that subscribe button. And also, turn on that notification bell so you can get up-to-date notifications whenever I post a new video about College Football 26. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. I will see you guys in another video, whatever video that may be. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. You could have been anywhere in the world watching the College Football 26 gameplay deep dive trailer once again, like I did multiple times, but you chose to spend some time with your boy Azkhalon, and I greatly appreciate it. Y'all take care. Peace.